You're on to the news on Niger Delta Television. I am Joyce Batowe. Thanks for joining us. On the highlights, Governor Doye Diri describes Chief Dan Etete as a patriotic Nigerian as he clocks 80. Nigeria Union of Journalists Bayelsa State Council inaugurates 15-man high-powered committee to organize a state media summit. Plus, Nigeria's rapper Olamide made history as his song hits 1 billion streams on Spotify. Governor of Bayelsa State Senator Doye Diri has paid tribute to a former Minister of Petroleum, Chief Dan Etete, on his 80th birthday. Governor Diri, in a press release issued by a spokesperson, described Senator Etete as a patriotic Nigerian and an illustrious son of the Ijaw ethnic nationality. He recalled the significant role Etete played in the movement for the creation of Bayelsa State, as well as the foundations he laid for the growth of Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Diri prayed God to continue to bless the octogenarian and elder statesman with good health, peace, and the joy of seeing his dreams for Bayelsa and the Ijaw nation flourish. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has promised not to play politics with the development of Bayelsa State, saying several government projects will be completed and commissioned this year. Governor Diri made the promise during the 149th Executive Council meeting of the Prosperity Administration. Government House correspondent George Ameli was there and now completes the report.
The 149th Executive Council meeting of the Prosperity Administration and the first in 2025 on Wednesday kick-started solemnly with Governor Diri and members observing a minute's silence over the passing of their colleague, Mrs. Elizabeth Jackson Bide. Deputy Inspector General of Police retired, Moses Jitubo, and His Royal Highness Auditor Onakboho, paramount ruler of Ofoni community in Sagwama local government area. Thereafter, Governor Diri informed members that ahead of the 50th anniversary of the Prosperity Administration, with concrete development of the state continuing even in the new year, commissioners should be set to effect inaugurations to mark the anniversary.
Our new Yenagoa City construction of roads is in top gear, and I'm sure that some of those roads will be commissioned. Our new legislators' quarters, new commissioners' quarters, I am sure we should be able to commission some of those projects. So all and every other project that we need to commission.
An iconic project bidding process starts in January.
We have hyped a new stadium, modern stadium for Yenagoa, a FIFA standard approved stadium. This January, all the committee members, the Commissioner for Sports, this January, that award must be made. This January. Your procurement process, the bidding, that award must be made. The contractor must begin towards the end of this January.
The new 9-story Secretariat building construction is about commencing.
The new Secretariat, Civil Servant Secretariat, it's already awarded, this time to a Bayelsa of repute. And I'm happy that at least there will be no capital flight. The money will be coming back to our state. That project commences from this January.
Governor Diri was impressed with the Commissioner for Transport, Honorable Priye Broderick, for the effective relocation of motor parks to the Bayelsa State Transport Terminal in Igogene.
We want to bring Yenagoa to a better place than we met it. I'm so happy that that terminal is now bubbling. I know that in everything there are teething problems when you begin. And so I implore you to ensure that those teething problems are resolved. There should be nobody going to behave like Agbero in that place. That park is a modern park with everything that is provided for.
The diligent conduct of Bayelsa youths during the musical concerts on New Year's Day tagged Timaya Day equally impressed the governor. From the Executive Council chambers in Government House, Yenagoa, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
In a bid to totally reposition the Bayelsa State media space, the state chairman of the Bayelsa State Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Comrade Tonye Yemoleya, has charged members of the Media Summit Committee to work towards ensuring a befitting media summit soon to be held in the state. He gave the charge during the inauguration of a 15-man high-powered media summit committee in Yenagua. Correspondent Janet Omote, who was there, brings us the report.
In a bid to strengthen and redefine media status within the media space in Bayelsa State, the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Bayelsa State, Comrade Tonye Yemoleya, while inaugurating the members of the Media Summit Committee, charged them to organize a befitting media summit.
We are equally expected to effectively plan and coordinate available resources for a successful summit. We also expect you to work out the number of days, the dates, the venue for the summit, to draw up the budget that is good enough to execute the summit. And finally, but not the least, work out subcommittees and undertake such other ancillary roles for a befitting media summit within the first quarter of 2025.
The Media Summit Committee Chairman, Comrade Tareyon Akono, after his acceptance speech, briefed newsmen that the summit will give a facelift to the state.
Sell the Bayelsa brand to the world. Reverse that negative image that the Western press has created on Bayelsa. I want to believe that at the end of this summit, if we work together, we will reverse this kind of stories and then sell the Bayelsa brand.
In their separate interviews, some of the committee members also gave their views concerning the upcoming event.
I think it's a very good initiative from the State Council of NUJ Bayelsa that we should gather together as media practitioners, as journalists.
For the first time in the history of the Council, the South-South region, and by extension the country, that the State Council is organizing a summit.
We give kudos to the State Council of the NUJ for this wonderful initiative.
We do our best to ensure that we put up a good program to change some of the perceptions, if not all, about the media industry in Bayelsa State.
With this step that the chairman has taken, we are trying to create a new brand for the state and for the nation.
The 15-man high-powered Media Summit Committee members were drawn from the Ministry of Information, Print and Electronic Media, and the academics. Janet Tuomute, reporting for NDTV News.
The Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, has implored Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nyesom Wike, and the former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili, to work with the Victor Atta-led Peace Committee to resolve the political crisis that has engulfed the state and, by extension, the region. In November, 2024, PANDEF General Assembly constituted a 7-member committee to diagnose and address the challenges bedeviling the region, chiefly the political differences among former and serving governors. PANDEF National Chairman, Ambassador Godknows Bolade Igali, in a statement yesterday, reiterated the qualities of the members, adding that it was time for all aggrieved members to collaborate with the committee for the problems to be addressed. He said it was sad that eminent personalities in the region had taken to social media to cast aspersions on one another when petitions and counter-petitions were before the committee. He added that PANDEF notes with concern the recent resort to electronic and social media platforms to cast unfounded aspersions, spread falsehoods, and fuel tensions, all aimed at diverting the focus of this committee and defeat the good purpose behind the peace and reconciliation efforts. The Senate on Thursday took on the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, over how much the federal government has saved and spent since the removal of fuel subsidy in June 2023. Edun, who appeared before the Senate for the defense of the 2025 budget, was also taken to task on how much the federal government is spending on debt servicing. In a radical interaction, however, the minister, who appeared to be unprepared for these questions, hurriedly requested a closed-door session with the lawmakers to provide answers. Edun's trouble began when questions were asked by some members of the Appropriation Committee on the state of implementation of the 2024 budget, especially the capital component. The committee chairman, Senator Solomon Olamilekan, All Progressives Congress, Ogun West, therefore asked accredited journalists covering the Senate to excuse them for the closed-door session. Also grilled by the lawmakers on Thursday were the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, and the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Issa Onilu. Both also had a tough time defending their prospective 2025 budget proposals. While Edu and Bagudu were grilled by Senate Committee on Appropriation, the heads of National Orientation Agency and News Agency of Nigeria had a tough afternoon with the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation. The National Orientation Agency Director General and his counterpart in News Agency of Nigeria were ordered to draft and present fresh budgetary proposals for the 2025 fiscal year. You're watching Niger Delta Television News, reaching you live from our studios here in Ekeke. On the headlines, Governor Doye Diri describes Chief Dan Etete as a patriotic Nigerian as he clocks 80. Nigeria Union of Journalists, Bayelsa State Council inaugurates 15-man high-powered committee to organize a state media summit. Still to come in the news, Nigerian rapper Olamide made history as his song hits 1 billion streams on Spotify. Details of these and other stories coming after the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Niger Delta Television News and Current Affairs Department at the NUJ Media Complex here in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State.
One of NDTV's traditional objectives is to disseminate information with renewed vigor. We build teamwork for accountability, efficiency, and accuracy.
Our community reports, eyewitness accounts, current affairs discussions are detailed and competitive.
As NDTV reporters, undiluted report is our goal. We gather the news and bring it to you just as it is.
Our cameras are poised to get in the story behind the story in an in-depth news report.
Our new digital equipment are top-notch with clearer visuals and audio. NDTV is repositioned to serve you better.
Join us on the news every day at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. and our major bulletin at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 25 UHF. NDTV, crystallizing the vision.
We're glad to have you back. Niger Delta Television News continues. Following the visionary directive of President Tinubu to ramp up oil production to a sustainable level, the Minister of Petroleum for State Resources, Senator Heniken Lokpobri, has described the directive as a cornerstone of the ministry and the nation at large. Lokpobri, who recounted the nation's achievements in the oil sector since he came on board, pointed out that the presidential directive enabled him to engage stakeholders both domestically and internationally to build synergy and foster partnerships, recounting some of the achievements in the oil sector, which is said include boosting of production level from 1 billion barrels per day to 1.8 million barrels per day, winning the bid to host the Africa Energy Bank, deregulating the downstream sector and ensuring constant availability of products even in the festive periods, a further promised brighter future. And from the ever-busy world of entertainment, Nigerian rapper Olamide has made history as the first African rapper to have his song surpass 1 billion streams on Spotify. For details of these entertainment news, let's join Aliko Flavor.
Nigerian rapper Olamide Adedeji, popularly known as Olamide, has hit a major milestone, surpassing 1 billion career streams on Spotify, becoming the first African rapper to achieve his remarkable feat, known for blending Afrobeats with his unique rap style, Olamide's innovative sound has earned him global recognition. Last year, he made history again as the first African rapper to earn a Grammy nomination in collaboration with Asake. The hit song Amapiano was nominated in the prestigious Best African Music Performance category, though it ultimately lost out to Tyler Water. Olamide continues to break barriers, proving that his influence and impact on the global music scene are only growing stronger. Afrobeat singer Oladipe Oluwasani David, popularly known as Spyro, has revealed that he spent over 15 million annually on beggars. In an emotional post on his Instagram, the Who's Your Guy crooner shared the challenges of being a celebrity in Lagos, where constant requests for assistance come both online and in person without reciprocating the assistance. Despite his continuous gestures of goodwill and act of generosity, Spyro remembers a harsh encounter where a stranger insulted him simply because he could not give money at the moment. He wrote on his Instagram page, and I quote, "It's really hard being a celebrity in Lagos. I told the guy I did not have anything and would see him the next day. He rained insults on me. Every day I spend a minimum of 100,000 naira on gifts. Let's say I go out 3 times a week. That's over 300,000 per week, making it 1 million naira a month. And that's about 15 million a year. Kilode." Kodak Black, the 27-year-old American rapper, has denied rumors that he converted to Islam after a photo of him squatting on what looks like a prayer mat went viral. Taken to social media page, Kodak clarified that while he respects the Muslim community, he identified as a Hebrew Israelite, not a Muslim. The American rapper furthermore said that his position means no disrespect to the Muslim community. Aliko Joseph Favor, reporting for NDTV Entertainment News.
And in sports, Nigeria's women cricket team, making preparations to compete in this year's ICC Under-19 Women's T20 Cricket World Cup in Malaysia, has been granted permission by the National Sports Commission, NSC, to go on a foreign training tour in India. For details of this report and more on sports stories, let's join Ayemi Miene.
On the 19 women team, which is getting ready to compete in this year's ICC Under-19 Women's T20 Cricket World Cup in Malaysia, starting on January 18th, 2025, has been granted permission by the National Sports Commission to go on a foreign training tour in India. Honorable Bukola Olokpade, the Director General of the National Sports Commission, disclosed that the Commission is collaborating closely with the Nigerian Cricket Federation to provide logistical, technical, and financial support to guarantee Nigeria as a strong World Cup showing. Nigeria is one of the 4 nations from the 16 that will compete in this year's World Cup to make their debut. Other newcomers include Nepal, Samoa, and Malaysia, the host nation. India is the reigning champions, having defeated England in the 2023 South Africa final. Tennis great Novak Djokovic claims that while he was living in Melbourne before being deported from Australia due to his opposition to the COVID-19 vaccine, was poisoned with heavy metals. In a shocking admission, Novak Djokovic stated that he had been poisoned with lead and mercury while he was in Melbourne. This was before he was deported from Australia for not getting the COVID-19 vaccine, which prevented him from competing in the Australian Open last year. In his illustrious tenure in Australia, where he has achieved considerable success on the court, the incident represents one of the darker periods. Even though he was arrested and deported, Djokovic is still determined to win the Australian Open for the 11th time and earn a total of 25 Grand Slam victories. In an interview with GQ, Djokovic revealed that he became ill after returning to Serbia and that he had high levels of heavy metals in his body. He claimed the food was contaminated while he was under quarantine at a hotel in Melbourne. Djokovic claimed that his deportation was motivated by political reasons and characterized his confinement conditions as jail-like, calling his treatment unfair. Even though Djokovic claimed he had no personal grudge towards Australians, his remarks brought to light recurring tensions from the episode. In the opening round of the Australian Open, Djokovic will play Nashish Basaredi of the USA. Ayemi Miene for NDTV Sports.
And now from the foreign scene, at least 19 persons have been killed when security forces contained an attack by armed fighters who stormed the presidential palace of N'Djamena, capital of Chad. The attack comes weeks after controversial parliamentary elections in which opposition parties boycotted the exercise, accusing President Mahamat Idris Deby's government of trying to legitimize his rule. According to government sources, a group of 24 heavily armed men attacked the president's office around 8:45 p.m. on Wednesday, but were repelled by the palace security forces, who killed 19 of the attackers and arrested 6. The incident coincided with a visit by Chinese Foreign Minister, who praised President Mahamat Deby for restoring constitutional order in the country. That foreign report wraps up our bulletin on Niger Delta Television News tonight. Before we go, a look at our top stories. Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doye Diri, has paid tribute to a former Minister of Petroleum, Chief Dan Etete, on his 80th birthday. We also brought you a report that the state chairman of the Bayelsa State Council of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Comrade Tonye Yemoleya, has charged members of the Media Summit Committee to work towards ensuring a befitting media summit soon to be held in the state. And finally, Nigerian rapper Olamide has made history as the first African rapper to have his song surpass 1 billion streams on Spotify. That report brings us to the end of the news bulletin tonight. I am Joyce Batowe. Thanks for watching and do have a pleasant night rest.